The Cleveland chapter of Sewa USA, in collaboration with the Metro Health System, organized an event of public health and wellness in Northeast Ohio. Presenting a unique spotlight on sustaining wholesome health and wellness, the event features speakers who discuss several health issues and topics for the South Asian community of Ohio. With an insight into the brilliance of plant life that brings auspiciousness, health, and prosperity, the event started off with lamp lighting and recognized several achievers of the South Asian members of Ohio. Sewa USA aspires to be the premier Hindu faith-based non-profit charity and humanitarian organization with a worldwide reach. Their vision is a threefold vision of serving humanity, aiding local community, and promoting volunteering. The event featured several well-known speakers and personalities and also had video presentations promoting Sewa's initiatives and goals in improving the South Asian community.
So today, we take these calls and put them into action. Today, we launch a model of imbibing habits, fostering a nature and nurture which promotes and enhances the phenomenon of wholesome and complete physical, mental, social, and spiritual health and well-being of the self, family, communities, and ultimately the entire humanity.
And we started this in 1989 in India, and then we moved into UK, and we started in Houston here in the US in 2003. Even though it is a very young organization, it has spread over the US in 38 chapters in 22 states. So far, we have done about 165,000 small and big projects.
So as I said, I'm able to speak Spanish, but I'm also able to speak Russian and a little bit of Romanian, and have worked in Central Eastern Europe as well. And one thing that was in common really with us, with my Peace Corps experience, was this grassroots component of really activating as many people and as organizations that may have a little bit different scopes, different interests, but ultimately if they look closely, their interests will align. And we really, I think, are rejuvenating many, many things. Global Cleveland, as I said, started 5 years ago, with Dr. Boutros coming just several years ago, and now we continue to have new doctors coming.
It was happening at the Cleveland Clinic too. Our costs were going up at the same rate for our own employees as it was for everyone else. And in fact, if you looked at it for 101,000 people, our costs would be this year, when we looked at it from 2008, we were spending $305 per employee per month, all in on medical costs. So the physicians providing that care, the physicians administrating it, this is administration, this is incentives, this is everything, this is the HR programs for wellness, etc., was $305.
We know we have a very, very, very loyal voter base, and many of you may be part of it in Cuyahoga County to operate us. The Cuyahoga County operating addition to our budget is 4%. 96% of what we do freestanding. And most people don't know that. They think it's just county subsidized. We are barely county subsidized. And that's really important to know how committed we are to this work. With that, Dr. Boutros said, you know what, community health matters, this worked. Let's create 4 community advocate positions. And so throughout the county, he created 4 positions to find communities activated to do things. I am proud to say right here in Clark Fulton, our neighborhood here, I do not speak Spanish. Many of my colleagues do. But we're working with the Puerto Rican community here with the Pistados to create healthy eating community lane.
Good afternoon. I've been asked to speak today about mindfulness and self-care for body and mind. Put another way, improving the quality of your life. Happily, public awareness has grown, and most people, especially this audience, realize we need to pay close attention to what we eat, our exercise, spirituality, and belongingness. However, in this world where we are bombarded by sensory overload, having to do more faster with less time, the growing stress of family and relationships, fear-mongering and worse, especially cell phones, if we can't learn ways that bring us peace of mind, then we're in very serious trouble, not only as individuals, but as a
We
society.
hear this whole talk of calorie restrictions, ideal protein restrictions, then doing some hydrotherapy. There's so much out there, but exactly nobody knows what a balanced nutrition is, how to manage weight, how to do that. It always comes in the binges, and you can see the spike, and then you come back. So what is your suggestion for our people over here? Like, what do you define as a balanced nutrition?
Play a role in it as well. So it's not just a matter of did I eat well today. In terms of what I would call a balanced diet, I would say that the fundamentals are still the same. We haven't really changed a whole lot. It's still fruit, vegetable intake. We still know that that's good for us. We still know we should be drinking water. I mean, all those basics have still played a role in there. The obsession with protein is an obsession that's becoming in the U.S. today. And if you look at the protein intake by the Hanes data, we actually, in the U.S., we all think we're Olympic athletes. So in Olympic athletes, we ask them to take in more protein. We take in just as much amount as they do. So in terms of protein, those types of things, I don't worry so much about that. I emphasize fruits and vegetables, a well-balanced life that includes exercise and hydration.
I think our next question, I'll give it to Saloni. Saloni, I've read all your books on Some of Sense. Some of My Sense, actually, I read that book. And you're very involved with children and mission, and you're very much involved with the holistic approach. A very balanced personality, as far as I know you for a long time. Can you describe about the breathing technique of the stress relaxation, or the breath yoga that you were talking about, which is kind of your expertise and what you have been excelling in?
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I work in primary care. I'm a internist with human clinic. So as a primary care physician, we always are recommending ways to maintain physical fitness. We talk about diet, exercise, nutrition. But I started to think, what are we recommending for maintenance of mind stuff? There are not a whole lot of recommendations on what we are taught in med schools. We're very focused on preventive care, preventive screening for physical health, but not much about mental illness, mental health. And according to CDC, actually, there are like 80% of office visits are related to mental illnesses in doctors' offices. And according to WHO, by 2020, anxiety and depression will be #1 cause of disability. So we should think a little bit more.
I know you are an elite woman, and I've been very much involved with Rita Singh, and I have heard your presentation. You're very much involved in the elite, and you're one of the women leaders. For you, I have a tough question, though. The question that I have is that how does the ambitious woman, I'm not saying that you're an ambitious, you're a very balanced woman, achieve the work-life balance that is integral to her family and self-health and well-being, which is a big thing in the women's, at least in the medical world, and also who are working, it's getting very hard. But how do you maintain those balance?
I think that's a great question. So I struggle a little bit with the term work-life balance, because when you think of balance, you think of two modes that are in equal portion. And for all of us people that juggle career and personal life, we know that there's very little balance, right? There's stress at work, and you're being pulled more at work. And then, of course, your home life or your family life struggles a little bit. And then also there's flexing of that. So sometimes work is not as stressful. You're able to give more to family. But I think really what it is like a work life.
So metabolic syndrome is a term that has gone from medical literature into just layman language. And the reason is because it's becoming so common. 1 in 2 adults in the US are overweight or obese, and 1 in 3 are obese. And Dr. Gladi talked about the statistics in children. So metabolic syndrome is this constellation of symptoms or signs or labs that determine that a person might be at a higher risk for cardiovascular disease or development of type 2 diabetes. Unfortunately, at this point, we are seeing more and more people who already have type 2 diabetes. They have already passed that metabolic syndrome thing. But the way we define it right now is we need 3 out of these 5 things. And the 5 things are increased blood sugar, not in the diabetes range, but maybe in the pre-diabetes range, or might just be.
Maybe this goes back to flexibility, and again, I don't think it's necessarily a balance. There are all these priorities that we think that are important to us. Personal priorities, professional priorities, and I'd like to say that many of these are passions that we care a great deal about. And I think it's really easy to move forward and follow through whether you're passionate about an individual relationship at that very moment, because it's an important relationship. It's almost a familial relationship, even though that's necessarily that we're not related by blood. But we have created, the people in this room have created with others, chosen family. And these are lessons that I've learned with working with diverse communities of people, that one of the things that helps with fostering and creating health, especially at times of adversity, whether it's personal adversity, like you suggested, or experiences of adversity because of social determinants.
I have a question for you, Dr. Lieberman. I'm very small in front of you to ask a question. But I just want you to describe to us what exactly the behavioral health means for the kids, because most of us have children. And that term is very easily thrown, but nobody knows exactly the definition and what it entails.
I've been thinking about this a lot. Before I answer that question, I want to tell you a story about community, because it's high on my list. It happened yesterday. So I was seeing lots and lots of kids, all one after the other, which is very hard to do. They all muddled together, and I was tired, and it was 3:30. I had another patient to see. And I'm stumbling back to my office, and there is Vanessa, who answers the phones and helps care for people next door. And I said, she says, how you doing? I said, oh boy, I'm beat. So what I really need is chocolate. She said, okay, I'll do that. So you will? Yeah. So I gave her what I had in my wallet, which was a $5 bill, and I went to work. I see my next patient. I come back to my office, and there, sitting on my desk, is a Hershey's chocolate bar with almonds, which is exactly what I needed, and my $5 bill.
Aww.
So I said to her, you know, that's family, right? She's taking care of me. And I was so grateful, and especially in a conference where we're dealing with healthy eating, I thought that Hershey's chocolate bar was healthy eating.
I'm so glad that Mr. Campbell highlighted sleep in this conference, because sleep is actually as important as diet and exercise and so many other things. And sleep deprivation, which is actually almost reaching an epidemic at this point of time, the recent CDC data states that about 1/3 of Americans are sleep deprived. Can I ask one question to all of you? How many of you sleep less than 7 hours per night? Almost all, right? Not you and me. I made sure that you do. So this adage, can't sleep and won't sleep, exists, right? One is can't sleep, which is truly people can't sleep because they have insomnia. One is won't sleep. They won't sleep because they won't put sleep as their priority.
Insight into why is it that you're feeling the way you feel. It can really change their outlook. But if they are in a community or in a family that has a negative psychology and the blame game, they have to have someone to blame for it. Maybe the doctor gave me the wrong medication. Maybe it was that food that I ate that day, and sometimes there is a trigger that you can identify. But mostly, it just comes down to that they're looking for someone to blame rather than take responsibility for what they have. Because at the end of the day, they have what they have. And none of these diseases can be cured.
Thank you so much, everyone. I think this has been an amazing event. This is just a unique partnership where Sewa, a community organization, came together with Metro Health, which is a community-based hospital, to just bring all these people together to talk about health and wellness and how to enhance that.
Hi, I'm Nancy Adela Pam, and I just attended the Vital State Conference. I'm an assistant professor at Case Western Nutrition, and I just wanted to share some of my thoughts with you about today's event. Today we had a group of experts come together and we talked about all aspects of wellness. It was nice to hear a lot of individuals talk about diet and exercise as one of the key things that we all should be thinking about. But on top of that, we talked about things like stress management, sleep, community, and just overall well-being. It was great to hear the different views of different experts and to hear how these all come together and how we share the same common vision of wellness.
Break right here. Don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back.